technologies have become synonymous with the cutting edge of immersive technology, powering a vast amount of AR, VR, and MR experiences around the world. Today, they're giving us an insider's view on the revolutionary effects of real-time 3D rendering on the creative industries. So let's give a warm welcome to the Chief Marketing Officer of Unity Technologies, Clive Downie, everyone.
Hi everyone. Good afternoon. Thanks for spending your time with me today. Really excited to be here and talk to you about something that we're very passionate about at Unity. So let's get into it. We are in the midst of a silent revolution. That's what I want to talk to you about today. Now, this revolution is a creative one. I think it affects every single person in this room, every single person, the industries that you work in, the services that you create, and your consumers as well. A new medium called real-time 3D is powering the next generation of creators, and it's revolutionizing both the way that you create things and the way that consumers consume product and information. Now, it's happened before. This isn't just something that we're conjuring up. If you look back through history, you can see all of the times that the creative mediums have been disrupted. And we're going to go on a very brief 2-minute history lesson so you can see just how valid this creative revolution is. Now, history's shown us that creative revolutions often follow a specific formula. They need 3 things to happen at the same time, and then magic happens. They occur at that intersection of creators questioning more and more what's possible. You know, creators always ask that eternal question, what if? What if I could do this? What if I could change this? What if I could bring my idea to life in a new way? So that has to happen, and that's evergreen. Creators are asking that all the time. Consumers have relentless need for more depth, more agency with what they're consuming. They want more interaction with what they consume on a daily basis. And you need technologies in place to capitalize on these evergreen creator and consumer needs. When that happens, you get this creative revolution. Let's take the dissemination and consumption of information as an example. There have been specific moments in history when the ability to give consumers more ways to consume content has happened. And it's really, really earth-shattering when it does. The first example that followed this technology was the written word. When the printing press was invented, it disrupted the system and technology of movable type with the invention of matrix-style typesetting and hand molding. Now, consumers at the time, for the hundreds and hundreds of years after and up until now, have craved learning. Rapid economic and socio-cultural development led the need to get quicker and quicker access to more information. So the printing press delivered against that consumer need. And creators just flooded in. History's there, storytellers, politicians, educators. They coveted this new scalable way to share their deepest desires with the world. Then came along TV, right? The cathode ray tube was invented. Electron guns, phosphorescent screens to project images onto. That was the technology. And again, creators went wild for this new medium that allowed storytelling and consumers to consume information in new ways. The web, we all know it included the same display paradigm of TV, but the new technologies of data packet switching and broadband connectivity created the global system of interconnected devices. And any information was now at the fingertips of the majority of humans who wished to interact with it. And we all know what it's done. It's disrupted. As if the power of the internet wasn't enough, then smartphones came along just 11 years ago. Now, mobile phones had been around for some time, but a shift took place when the chip size and power consumption allowed handhelds to sustain operating systems and feature advanced communications, which we all now take for granted. The technology arrived to enable everyone to have a computer in their pocket, 2 billion and counting. Now, what's next? The question becomes, we can print, We can watch shows and create movable images. We can surf the web. We can do it all in the palm of our hands. Where do we go from here? And what's the medium that's going to inspire this new jump? Well, it's already out there. We think it's real-time 3D. It's a revolution that's silently happening around us and bringing more and more agency to both the creative process and to the consumption of information and entertainment. Now, the technology that's spearheading this is very simple. It's multi-core central processing units and graphical processing units that are capable of transforming and computing teraflops of data. The result is not one frame of digital creativity rendered photorealistically, but 30 to 60 frames a second that's capable of being rendered in photorealistic imagery. And creators want workflows, platforms that operate at the speed of their ideas. So why wait for your tool to answer the powerful question of what if? What if I do that? What's it look like? And consumers want more interaction and more agency, and they're getting it. These are the forces driving the real-time 3D revolution that's happening silently around us today. Now, real-time 3D is exactly what it sounds like. It's the ability to look around, behind, and under something and interact with it as you create it. It's the solution that allows creators and consumers to ask, what if I do that? And they get an answer immediately. Real-time 3D is an instant change, and interactive content and product follow. It's on the cusp of upending decades of workflows and tools in almost every industry on the planet. But it's not new. I want to just talk to you about where it's been and where it's been living and where it's come from, because you can chart a course on the genesis of things to where they're going. Well, it's been in games. Real-time 3D's forged in gaming. Games have been at the forefront of using the technology for up to 3 decades. It's a legit technology that's powering a legit medium, and it's ready to go further. Just how legit is it as a medium? Well, games is a $180 billion business a year that's being powered by this medium and this real-time 3D technology. Games for the last 2 decades has earned more revenue than movies and music combined. Every year for the last 2 decades. Real-time 3D is a proven mechanism for entertaining to get the most beautiful content you've ever seen and interacted with. If it's powering that industry, what could it do for other industries? In gaming, the reason why it works is because you have to be able to make changes instantaneously. It's the epitome of asking, what if? Think about it. Games like these must be able to react to a player's decision at any moment. It's what drives the interactivity and deep immersion of being in a game. It's these powerful CPUs and GPUs that can process and render at 30 frames a second. What if a player pushes a button to go left? The game has to go left. Right, game has to go right. Jump, game has to jump. A real-time 3D engine is used to draw a 3D scene at 30 times per second, which means the game is already making the change, that the action that the player has asked, the absolute second that it's requested, without losing graphical fidelity. This is the power of real-time 3D. Imagine that power in creation everywhere. Let me show you how it works. This is Adam. It's actually his name. Adam was an in-house creation of ours from a really talented content team. And Adam inspired Academy Award-nominated director Neil Blomkamp, District 9, Elysium Chappie, to make 2 short films using real-time 3D, because Neil asked, what if I use real-time 3D instead of my standard workflows? He wanted to see if there was another way to create, to iterate his vision super quickly. Now, what I'm about to show you, I'm going to give you some context for it. If the next scene you're going to see it looks like a video of the movie. And this is actually a real-time 3D scene being played back. Because at any time you can stop this scene, and then in the real-time 3D editing platform of Unity, you can go anywhere in that scene and choose to do something different with it. You don't have to rebake a scene at another angle and rebake all the lighting. So you're going to see the video, and then the video is going to stop because the director said, let me do something different with that scene. And then it's going to take us into the Unity 3D, real-time 3D editor, and we're going to start seeing how you can implement very quick changes on the fly. Here we go, here's the scene. We're following Adam and his friends into here. We go, oh, into the editor. I'm moving the camera in the scene, and it's panning back and forth so I can get a new camera angle. I'm trying it again. Oh, that fire in the background, that fire's dragging my eye to it. I need to move that fire object. I move the fire object. Real-time 3D allows me to just do it instantly, and I can re-scrub and replay. It bakes it all in real time. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this guard over so the guard actually takes up more of the scene as Adam moves into the building. I've done it all in seconds. I've done it all because real-time 3D allows me to manipulate every part of the scene rather than just baking a flat digital picture. So imagine that kind of power swiftly changing the way we create, disseminate, and consume content everywhere. It's instantaneous, as you saw. You can make changes on the fly at photoreal fidelity. It's powerful. It's transposable. You can take creativity across platforms and formats. This isn't some ring-fenced world that doesn't play nice with consumer platforms. Now, all of these benefits are coming to other industries. They're using real-time 3D to transform what they've been doing for decades. And I want to give you some examples so you can see the transformative power of real-time 3D. The first one's in automotive. If I'm an automotive company, I might ask, what if I could make my TV commercial for my new car before the car is made? Now, for those of you who have worked in the advertising world for automotive, you'll realize that the car needs to be ready in some form. It needs to be shipped to a glorious location like Highway 1 in California or Cape Town where the light is just perfect. And it just adds a certain urgency to the whole creative process. And if the shot's wrong, you have to stay again late, you have to stay extra days, and it's tedious. So what if you could make a TV ad for a brand new car without having the car? Well, that's what us, BMW, and a really great agency called Light and Shadows were audacious enough to do. And I'm going to show you the next video, and you can see the power for yourself, and then I'll ask you some questions.
Invent yourself, and then reinvent yourself. Don't swim in the same slough. Invent yourself, and then reinvent yourself. And stay out of the clutches of mediocrity. Invent yourself, and then reinvent yourself. Change your tone and shape so often that they can never categorize you. Reinvigorate yourself and accept what is, but only on the terms that you have invented. Be self-taught. And reinvent your life because you must. It is your life, and its history and the present belong only to you.
Now, what you just saw there was 22 frames of the cars. Half of them were a real car photographed, and half of them were real-time 3D. Now, the reason why we did that was because we wanted to prove to observers that we could match the real car imagery with real-time 3D. Which one of these do you think is the real one? And which one of these do you think is the real-time 3D one? That's right. Let's the one on the left. The one on the left is real-time 3D. What this allowed us to do was create a TV ad literally in weeks rather than months because of the power of real-time 3D. That image there is real-time 3D. That image there, as an example, is real-time 3D. All of the interior images are real-time 3D, and it allowed the directors of this piece to get the optimal camera angle and the optimum lighting, again, without having to rebake frame by frame. So, really powerful. Hey, real-time 3D for film. This is a shot from Baymax Dreams. It's a collaboration with Disney Television Animation. Disney Television Animation came to us and said, is there another way? Is there another way of creating TV quality animation that can disrupt our workflows? And we said, of course, we think that you can do it with real-time 3D and you can do it with the Unity engine and editor workflow. And I got a video next which shows you the director of this piece and some of the folks at Disney Television Animation talking about some of the key aspects of this authoring process and bringing what Disney needed to do to life.
Instant.
Can go. You know what? Midday isn't feeling that great. Let's just go to Magic Hour. In an instant, you can hit a button, see what everything looks like at Magic Hour. You can gamble a little bit more creatively and come up with those happy accidents.
Now that you've created assets, you can use those sets and those characters in other experiences.
You can create AR experiences, VR experiences, all from the engine. It's already in there. If you look at Disney's history, if you look at the DNA of the company, it's all about experience.
So, obviously, all of those people in that video are fantastic at projecting their voice. Their voice got here seconds before the video did. And so they're very talented people at Disney. They can do that. But what you saw, I want to pull out two things in there. The first one is the director said, what if we wanted to go to Magic Hour? He wanted to take the piece of content to Magic Hour. Magic Hour is that wonderful moment just before the sun goes down when the world is bathed in golden light, and it accentuates creativity sometimes. Now, what would usually have to happen if a director wanted to do that is they'd have to rebake all of the frames with a new lighting mode, and they'd have to take hours to do that on massive render farms. With real-time 3D, you can just change the settings on lighting, and immediately you can see the difference. The second point in that video was all of the assets that were made for real-time 3D are transposable across any other medium that Disney wants to take this intellectual property to. So they can create it once, and then they can take all of those assets, not just to TV, but to anything else that uses real-time 3D. Games, their AR experiences, their VR experiences, their theme parks. So that's the transposability power. And if you can take your eyes away from the fantastic carpet, what this is an Emmy. The Emmys gave us a technical Emmy for our services that materially affect the way people watch and interact with traditional mediums. So they said, real-time 3D. We like that, have an Emmy. I'm paraphrasing, but it was something like that. Okay, architecture, engineering, and construction. Real-time 3D and today's immersive technologies are leading us to a future where technology will integrate seamlessly into our lives that people won't even notice it or even think about it. It's even disrupting industries that build the world around us. I'm going to take you on a brief tour here of, this is Unity's London office. This is rendered in real-time 3D. It allows you to cycle through the options on the floor so you can see material changes, again in real time. It allows you to change the lighting configuration so you see spaces at different times of the day. And it allows you to project into the areas building information, material information, so you can change by uploading assets, material and construction assets from the cloud directly into the scene. So as an architect and a designer, you can see the impact of certain materials in the space, all in one. So what it does is it's the entire value chain from architect visualization down to construction and interior design in the manufacturing process. Real-time 3D has that power. Now, last, I'd be remiss not to touch on augmented reality. In a lot of ways, AR is poised to maybe become the next internet. It's the most powerful content delivery medium ever, and it might be the way that the population of this wonderful planet consumes information on a daily, minute-by-minute basis in the future. Now, this game here, this is a wonderful game by Niantic called Pokemon Go. It's made with Unity. When I see this, yes, I see Pokemon Go, but I also see training wheels for augmented reality. As in, it's this kind of augmented reality experience that is training people to understand that they can augment their view space with real-time 3D imagery to make their world better and to have fun. Just imagine when this can power education, social aspects, learning, navigation. So we can bring stories to the real world by overlaying graphics. And real-time 3D is the heart of augmented reality. It doesn't work without it because you need to render 3D objects in a space at 30 frames a second for it to work for the customer and consumer consuming that information. And over 1 billion mobile devices are already AR enabled, so they're already, like I said, training people for this new future of AR that real-time 3D is going to be the core of. Okay. Everything that you've seen is possible because of real-time 3D. It is the silent revolution happening in creativity and in content consumption. It's technology that's already here. It's a new medium in which consumers will interact with information and product across categories. And it's finally a medium that can answer the most powerful question for creators at the speed that they can think it. What if? Thanks very much for your time. Bye.